For exercise 5-18 in Wiley Plus, I wanted to go over this one because at first glance it may seem like it's a little difficult. What the question is asking you is to determine gross profit based on the information that's given. Now, if you remember how to do the income statement, and I'll show that here in just a second, but remember gross profit is basically your net sales minus your cost of goods sold, gives you gross profit. And if you look in everything they've given to us, well, they have given us a sale figure, and we can get net sales based on the other two items, but they don't give us a cost of goods sold. So that means we're going to need to actually compute what the cost of goods sold is before we can even get to the gross profit. So what I've made here, and why I've copied and pasted this into an Excel document, the exercise 5-18, is I went ahead and made a brief income statement for us to look at and kind of refresh on where does gross profit even come from. So I have up here the company name and then a real basic income statement. I've got a subtotal column over here, kind of like what Wiley does, and then a total column. And remember, revenues minus our contra revenue accounts will lead us to net sales, and then when we subtract out our cost of goods sold, we then get gross profit. That's the figure that this problem is wanting us to get to. Well, we can begin to start the top section of the income statement just with what they've given us in this problem. They've given us our sale revenue of $8,075. They've also given us our sales return and our sales discounts. Our sales returns are $10,400. I'm going to put these in as a negative just to help remind me that that's what's going on. The less does take care of that, but this helps just reinforce that idea for me. So we have the two discounts and returns. So over here to the side, I'm going to go ahead and total them up to get in my total column. So we got a negative $15,600 that's going to come off my base revenue, and that's going to give me my sales, my net sales. So if I take the $807,500 and subtract the negative here, or add in the negative in this case, I get a net sales of $791,900. Now, it would be real easy to get cost of goods sold if they went ahead and gave us the actual cost of goods sold number, but they don't. But we can determine that based on what inventory information they've given us. Remember, cost of goods sold, our cost of goods sold number is the same number as our inventory that's being taken away when we sell something. So if we can get a final inventory number coming out, that is going to be our cost of goods sold. So let's start with the information that they've given us. It says up here that at the beginning of the year, we had $53,000 in our opening inventory account. So I'm going to put that over here to the side, $53,000 as our positive inventory. And then it tells us it went ahead and separated. Remember in class, we go ahead and add them all into our inventory. Any costs that get added to our asset purchase, in this case inventory, we go ahead and add them in right away. Here they went ahead and kept them separate to see if you know that you should be adding them in. So freight in, to get inventory, we had to pay some shipping, and we had to pay a total of $4,900. So that cost actually gets added right into that asset, or in this case, the inventory that I bought. And then, of course, when I buy inventory, that's my main purchase, so that's going to get included here as our biggest amount. We bought an additional $508,000 of stuff, of merchandise, that I plan on reselling. Now, along with buying that $508,000, I had a couple of returns, and I had some discounts. So I'm going to put these over here as a reduction to my inventory final cost. So my inventory, I returned $73.50 of my purchases, and of the $508,000 in purchases, I had a $2,100 discount provided to me, so that gets taken off of my inventory cost. And so when I add up I'm going to add up everything on the plus side and then subtract out all of my negatives here. And I've got an ending balance before I sell anything. If I looked at it like this from one snapshot, I have $556,450 of inventory. Now at the very bottom, it tells me that I have $63,000 of inventory remaining. So something happened to get me from $556,450 down to $63,000, and that something happened to be the sale. I sold stuff that was then put in as part of cost of goods sold. So all I've got to do is take the difference between the $556,450 and the $63,000, and that's going to tell me how much stuff I've sold, and is my cost of goods sold number. So my cost of goods sold is $493,450, and that's going to give me a gross profit then of sales minus cost of goods sold of $298,450, and that would be my answer for the first part of this problem. So our gross profit would have been $298,450. Okay, that wraps up the explanation I wanted to do for this problem.